So out of all the games in the press conference, which ones stood out for you, Vic?
Well, I'm a Batman freak, as everybody that watches our stuff knows, and Arkham Knight just looks like the answer. You know, it just looks like this is what next gen should be all about, and this is a company, honoring the fan base, and I think it's going to be the best Batman, adaptation of any medium. I think it's going to be incredible. That's what I'm most excited about. The tease of Uncharted. That was a very strong ending. The end with Batman and Drake. That was like.
And Grand Theft Auto.
And Grand Theft Auto.
Next gen would have Rockstar on stage. Pretty amazing.
And even to start with Destiny as their big sort of lead-in. There's a lot of really strong titles coming for these machines. Absolutely, for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Right, and indies are looking good on the PlayStation platforms as well.
Yep.
I keep forgetting the name of the game, but the game made by the giant squid people.
Oh, Abzu.
Yeah, that looked really.
Pulled that one out of your hat.
Thank you, Victor. But they had really interesting indie games, and also, there could be worse E3 traditions to start than Sony saying, this game we just showed you is available right now.
Yeah.
I hope more people do that. I hope that becomes a staple of E3 press conferences, where the game just turns on
That's a Sega Saturn
while they're up
right
there.
Yeah.
Well,
that maybe is not.
That's what they were going for.
Gothic, what stood out to you?
All about Bloodborne. I'm a huge Souls fan.
You go see it?
I went to go see it yesterday. It looks fantastic. It's, the first line out of Miyazaki, the director of that and the other Souls games was, it's not a sequel to Demon Souls. That was kind of the rumor going in, that maybe it's a direct sequel to that. But if you're into the Souls games, Dark Souls 2, which came out earlier this year, not a bad game, but, the guy who made the games you loved didn't work on that one. It was sort of like waiting for the Return of the King, and absolutely blew me away. Like, it looks like the next-gen Souls game you want. They're trying to make the game a little bit faster, not so much about just like sitting there with an armor set, enemies attacking you and then dodging around. They're trying to get the player a little more engaged, and it's an exclusive. So I mean, that's a big deal. Like the Souls game, you're constantly developers going like, oh, we're kind of like the Dark Souls of this, the Dark Souls of that. That series went from very niche to all of a sudden influencing a lot of games, and Sony has the next big one that people care about, and I think that's going to be a big deal next year.
Is the fact that they don't have a big first-party game this fall going to be a big problem for Sony?
I think so. I mean, I think that you will see the PlayStation 4 not sell maybe quite as well as it has up until this thing. I think that there will be a lot of marketing and a lot of buzz about 2015 towards the end of the year, and then Christmas will be right there. So by that time, there will be a nice library of stuff.
They've clearly done a lot, or they're doing something with Rockstar in order to even be able to announce that game there. Grand Theft Auto 5 was far bigger than any other game last year. If PlayStation can effectively tether their system in people's minds to GTA 5 Next Gen, even though that game is also coming to PC and Xbox One, then it may make up for the fact that they only have Drive Club in terms of disc-based.
Well, they're trying to do that with Destiny, right? They're trying to do what Microsoft successfully did last generation with Call of Duty, which is first of mind is Call of Duty and Xbox. It's why they continue the DLC tradition with Activision. Destiny's a big bet. Like, it's bet at every Sony event. They're really putting their faith in Bungie that this is going to be the next big thing. And I think Bungie's had a hard time explaining exactly what Destiny is. That's kind of always the question. Like, is it Borderlands? Is it? I think the alpha is going to help a lot with that. Debate is going to help with that. But Sony's, they're kind of putting a lot of their chips on Bungie. That's going to be a huge proposition for the PS4.
And NHL in Canada as well is going to have a lot a from PlayStation.
Look at that, a little Canada shout out.
It's funny. You were saying that Microsoft is taking from the Halo buffet. Arguably, Sony, going for Destiny in an indirect way, is taking from the Halo buffet as well. So that game's legacy.
Everyone gets a little bit.
The Halo buffet is very nourishing for all.
Yeah, I heard that Sony is very cognizant of the fact that there are these buddy games out there that Xbox really tapped into with Call of Duty and Madden and a couple of the Xbox Live staples. And that's what they're actively going to be pursuing. And NHL is one of those. FIFA is one of those. So I think PlayStation is going to be making a big push in that direction.
Big bet on third parties. So overall, great on the Sony press conference?
It was a really good one. I really love the diversity of it. I want more games in 2014. I'd give it a B.
A-level content if you sift it out, but in terms of presentation, like B-, because it was just, I thought, too messy.
Yeah, the same. Sony doesn't have to stick to like the TV guidelines, so they kind of let themselves go a little bit, and I think that kind of took away a little bit for me.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the big Nintendo, what Reggie brought to the show. That's next here on the bonus round.